Have you ever found yourself asking why your team with so much talent and potential just can't seem to reach that next level of performance? In today's fast paced business world, one of the most common struggles organizations face is how to deliver products faster while still maintaining high quality. Many teams feel bogged down by delays, inefficiencies, and bottlenecks. So you're probably asking yourself, what do you do? How do you get teams out of that rut? How do you get them to break the mold? And this is where value stream mapping comes in. So, this is a method to not only accelerate product delivery, but to maximize the value delivered to your customers. The way you manage your team's workflows could significantly reduce wasted efforts while increasing the value that your teams provide. It's really that's it. That's the core concept. It's not that complicated. It's something that most organizations either underestimate or either don't fully leverage. In fact, many of the problems they're facing could be mitigated by focusing on value streams. So let's dive in and talk a little bit more about how to streamline your workflows through value stream management. So first thing you need to understand is, what is a value stream and does it even matter, right? Well, a value stream refers to all the steps your organization takes in order to deliver a product or service to the customer, from ideation to discovery to delivery to release. That should sound familiar. These steps may include everything from the idea generation portion to product design to early development and creating feedback loops to delivery and release. The goal of value stream management is to maximize the value in every step and eliminate wasteful activities. If that sounded familiar to you, if you've ever been to one of my classes before and you've seen the Agile landscape with 4 columns, each of those columns are represented, and that combination of those 4 columns is value stream mapping. That's exactly what it is. So I think that if you understand how to deal with this, then you can understand how not to get bogged down by inefficiencies, delays, handoffs, task switching, context switching, relearning. That's all called waste. And when you talk about the hidden factory and how to not do the same thing over and over again and how to eliminate waste, this all kind of ties in, right? So what remains when you get rid of all the waste is your value stream map. It's kind of simple and kind of common sense, but at the same time, people struggle with it so much. So one of the most counterintuitive concepts about the whole thing is that by introducing more flow experts with specialized ways of working skill sets, you can actually increase developer efficiency and reduce wasted effort. So what I mean by that is, it's good to have cross-functional teams, and it's good to take off bite-sized chunks and vertical slices of what you're trying to do. But there are going to be times where you have to have someone who's the expert at something to step in and do what they're the expert at. So for example, if you had a whole team, working on a project, it's a banking project, and you have one person who COBOL or Fortran, you don't want to teach the whole team how to do that. You're going to have to identify who can get in there and get it done, and identify that the skill set closely ties to roles like product owners, product managers, agile coaches, value stream managers are pretty much the same thing. So when you start thinking about these optimized workflow roles, they are going to be the ones who help make sure that things get delivered in a timely manner. Now, when you start talking about cross-functional versus dedicated siloed teams, or component teams, if you will, you may have individuals who are componentized individuals working in a cross-functional team, is what I'm trying to say. So you need to be mindful of both of those things, because it might seem surprising at first, because people may think that adding non-development related roles and tasks creates more overhead. But the truth is, when you have flow managers that optimize and focus on delivery and change management, it just makes things run more smooth. It always has. So it's not about how many people you have working on something. It's about making sure those people are working and you have the right people involved. By shifting the focus towards improving how the work is done instead of the individual doing the work, you create an environment where your team is set up to succeed rather than struggle. So you have a couple of steps you have to do in order to implement value stream mapping and in order to have it work successfully. I've identified a handful of steps, and I thought I'd lay them out here and just kind of get your feedback, get your opinion. Tell me what you think. So right out of the gate, you want to identify any bottlenecks and waste and take care of that. Identify your debt, right? Get the debt over with. So the first step to improving your value stream is to identify where your inefficiencies lie. Waste comes in many forms: delays, context switching, relearning, partially done work, extra features that don't provide value. Waste comes from processes that don't directly contribute to the value, such as handoffs and unnecessary delays. So if you can lay this all out and map it, it's going to be easier for you to identify which pieces can be more lean and which pieces can go away. And you'll be surprised. There's a fair amount that can go away. Yes? Then you need to focus on streamlining communication. So a common source of waste in organizations, of course, is poor communication between teams. The more teams that need to coordinate without a clear process, the more time that gets lost. So project managers who specialize in managing workflows can help bridge these gaps. Now, I'm not saying you have to add a true project manager. You just have to identify someone who's behaving in that role or in that capacity to make sure that that project manager responsibility is getting done. So don't necessarily, lean in on, okay, I have to hire a full-time project manager now. You just have to bring someone in who understands it, that can take care of it at that level for those people. Yes? Okay. The third one is the one I've talked about a few times. Reduce your task switching and your context switching as much as possible. So task switching, where a team member constantly moves between different tasks they have allocated to them, is a significant source of waste. It reduces focus and increases the time that it takes to complete each task. This is a big part of limiting WIP, limiting work in progress. If you're going to limit WIP, you need to focus on one or two things and get those things done. This is all part of Little's Law, right? Stop starting new work and start finishing the work that you've completed to or committed to. So that way you can get those things completed. And if you get stuck, it's okay to get stuck, but you also need to identify that you're stuck and formulate ways that you're going to get other people involved to get you unstuck as soon as possible so you can continue to move down your path. So if you're struggling with this, you may want to make sure you have good alignment and that people can focus on the work that actually needs to be completed. Okay. Number 4, reframe your definition of success. So another crucial step is to redefine what success looks like in your organization. Instead of focusing on the number of features delivered or how many points or how quickly someone gets something done, you need to shift your focus to how much value are the end users really getting out of what you deliver. If you deliver something lightning fast and nobody cares, who cares, right? We need to get past that. So you need to shift your focus towards how much value is completed, and that makes more sense. So now we're getting into one of the most complex conversations that I have in any of my Agile workshops, and that's Agile earned value. So when you start talking about Agile earned value, you start talking about cost per story point, you start talking about Agile earned value, this is where it really bites in and gives you a good heads up of, oh, that's what that means, or oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing. And you can get to a point where you can measure cost per point. You can do all kinds of cool things with it, but you got to start here, right? Okay. So the final thing I want to talk about is the impact, right? So if you could picture, if you will, what happens when waste is reduced through what happens when waste is reduced? How about reduced? Through the effective value stream management flow. It's simple. You can picture it. You can picture it in your mind if you'd like. It's just so easy to depict, right? I think the big takeaways here that you're going to get faster delivery time, higher customer satisfaction, improved team morale. And that's just tip of the iceberg. I can tell you right now that when we cover the work in progress section in our certification courses, we talk pretty extensively about all these different benefits. Reduced waste, right? Higher quality, faster time to market, increased revenue, customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction. There's just so many things to talk about here. So the last thing you need to do is take action. You can't just say you're going to do something. You need to figure out a way you're going to get it done. Maybe you start by mapping your current value stream, identify bottlenecks, inefficiencies, and waste. Or introduce project managers or event managers or change managers into your workflow. And let them focus on the actual workflow and not focus on the work itself. I think that jointly they have a good role and they can fit right in with a Scrum Master and a Product Owner to help effectively get things done. And then, of course, focus on continual improvement. Now, most people talk about continuous improvement. We talked about this before. But continuous is ever-flowing and ever-changing. In the words of Deming, we should strive for continual improvement. That means that improvement's not always going to be happening at the same pace, but we're always moving in a direction that aligns with improvement as best we can. So by focusing on value stream management, you can not only increase your product delivery speed, but you can ensure that what you're delivering is truly valuable and what the consumer wants. You reduce wasted effort, streamline workflow, and increase the overall impact. Those are all the benefits, and that's what the expectation is. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a question about this topic or any others, feel free to reach out to us. Learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.